Hello brothers and sisters, welcome to another episode here on Dangerous African Confessions HD. Before we go into what we have for this episode, I would love to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of who is part of this family. The time you spend to watch these videos means a lot to us as a team. And it encourages us to continue to bring these confessions to you. We appreciate your subscription and likes, as well as the comments. Thank you, and let's get to what we have for today. In this episode, the confession we are about to listen to broke me when I first listened to the audio that was sent. I realized there is more we can do as humanity. This is a confession by Samuel. And it is about how his friend made the hardest decision to offer himself as a sacrifice because of his siblings.
He told me, "Samuel, do you remember what I told you when we were still in school?" I really had forgotten about whatever he was referring to. So, he told me, "Do you remember when we were about writing our final exams and your father had finished paying my fees for? I told you that, when we go out there from school, and things do not change, I cannot watch my younger brothers and sister to also suffer the same way I did." That is exactly what happened. And today, whatever I have is for them. They are the reason why I did whatever it is that I did. It would have killed my soul if I should to see them suffer. I have laid down my life for them to be comfortable. Please, whatever happens, they know about you. Just make sure they will invest wisely and make good use of this opportunity that I never had. I love you as a brother and not a friend. Take good care of them for me. They are your brothers and sister now. He said these things to me and gave up his last breath.
As part of our policy, I've made some editing to hide the identity. Please kindly subscribe, share and like our videos. Kindly hit the notification bell so you will be the first to get notification to our videos when we upload. Without wasting much of your time, let's go and listen to the story.
Hello brother, I would love to share this confession with you. It is actually not my own story. But since I was a part of the person's life journey and now in charge of making sure what he has left behind will not scatter, I believe I can tell the story in a better way. I am not doing this to tarnish my friend's life that he lived here on earth, nor the decisions he made. At that particular moment, I believe he felt it was the right thing to do and he did it. But I strongly want you to push this message about my brother and a friend to your viewers, so that they can learn some lessons from his life. I believe he has made his choices and left, but this thing is even a better way to honor him. If I can get even one person to change his mind from doing something like this or relating to it, that will be more uplifting. I have thought of sending this to you for long. But anytime I try to send to you, I stop. Because the pains I feel inside is enormous. My name is Samuel and I am from Ghana. And this is my confession. When I was in my secondary education level, I had the opportunity to meet this fine guy, who later will become the person I am talking to you about today. His name was Eric. Eric and I became very close friends to the extent that my father will always say that he feels Eric should have been a biological son. Judging from the way I was with him, Eric was someone who never wanted to be bullied. Even when we were first-year students, he will always struggle with the seniors when they go about maltreating and punishing us. He never wanted to be bullied. How we became friends was that there was a day that we went to the dining hall to eat. And there was this one particular guy who was tall amongst the people who were on the table. He served the food, and when it got to my turn, the kind of food he gave me was as if I had an issue with him. Eric was not on our table. But how he managed to know that the guy was doing something which was not right, I cannot tell. He came to our table and asked me to give him my bowl. At first, I thought he was a senior and wanted to take my food away. He insisted I give him the food. So, when I gave the food to him, he placed my bowl in front of the guy and asked the guy to give him his very own. It nearly broke into a fight. But then Eric still took the guy's food together with my own and asked me to follow him. I went and sit with him on the table where he was. He gave the food to me and told me that, from that time, if any first-year student think he is big and tall and wants to bully me, I should call on him. This was like a relief for me. The guys have been doing that to the ones who looked somehow soft. We became very close after that. I will say that I was the one who initiated our friendship. Because for him, he just didn't like to see you being bullied. And whether he knows you or not, he will come into your defense. So, when I saw that, I had to find ways to be closer to him, so that the other students will not come closer to me. That was the reason I got close to him. But then, when I got closer to him, I realized there was something more about Eric than just defending you. He was the nicest person that you can ever be around. He loved to share jokes here and there. Any little chance he gets, he will try and entertain whoever is with him. We were about 5 boys and 2 girls around Eric. But then, I was the one who was so much closer to him. I told my parents about him when they came to visit me, and I was made to call him. My father talked to him and asked him to be the senior brother that he is on campus. He jokingly told my father that he would protect me like his own mother. It was during our 3rd term in our first year that I got to know that Eric had lost his father and mother. He never told anyone about them. He was constantly being asked to go and bring his school. But then, when we go on break, you will still see him on campus sitting on some of the visitors' chairs. When you ask him what is going on, he will tell you that his father had traveled and he will return soon to pay, so no one should worry. It went on for about 3 weeks in the 3rd term. One day, he was sacked and told never to come to class until his parents come and settle the school fees. During break time, I was heading towards dormitory when I saw him sitting quietly leaning on one of the buildings. He didn't hear me coming. He might have lost in his thoughts. I got close to him, and for the first time, I saw Eric crying. I couldn't hold my tears. I asked him what the problem is. I told him to tell me if there is anything I can do, I will. He said that he does not want to put his burdens on anyone. Because even his family members do not put in any efforts to help, how much more an outsider? I told him not to see me as an outsider but a family member who cares about his problem. I remember this very moment like it is just now. That was the first time I saw how vulnerable Eric can be. He didn't want to talk about it at first. So, I called my father from one of the teacher's phone. He is the one that I was asked to go to anytime I wanted to talk to my parents. So, I told my father about Eric and he said he wanted to speak with him. I went and called Eric so that my father can talk to him. It was after his conversation with my father that I got to know that his parents are dead and he stays with his mother's sister. But then, it is one issue or the other. And that, amongst the 4 children, right now, he is the only one who is in school. The mother's sister is saying she can't see all of them through school at a go. After their conversation, my father sent money to the teacher whose phone I used, so that he can go and settle his bills. From that time, I was sharing everything with him. My father, when he's sending me money, he doubles it. That was how our bond became so strong that, when we are going on vacations, he will first go with me to our place before he will eventually go to his house. My father one time asked Eric to give him the directions to his house so he can go and see about his other siblings. But then when he went, he told me that Eric's family didn't want him to meet the siblings. Sometimes, you will return to the dormitory to see Eric on his bed quiet with tears in his eyes. When it happens that way, he will never speak with anyone for days. Because I got to know about his family, when it happens that way, I just leave him till he comes around. Because I realized that the more you push, the more he becomes sadder. This was our life through our stay in school till we finished school. But then I sometimes feared for Eric when we were in school. Because, especially when we were about to write the exams, one of his siblings called him and told him about the bad things their now mother is doing to them. It got to Eric that he was not even attending classes. Even the teacher who I go to when I want to call home had to come in and talk to him. It was obvious his parents' death had really affected him. Especially when he is about to eat, he can sit there for hours and still not touch the food. It was obvious he would be thinking about his younger siblings. It affected his studies and marks as well. I remember when we had finished writing our last papers. The night before we left campus. We stayed up till the next morning. Eric said something to me that night. He said that You have a good man as a father. Never disrespect your father for any reason. He is a very good man. I want to tell you something, I don't know what is waiting for me out there. But then, when we go out there from school, and things do not change, I cannot watch my younger brothers and sister to also suffer this way. It would kill my soul if I should to see them suffer.
Please kindly subscribe, share and like our videos. Kindly hit the notification bell so you will be the first to get notification to our videos when we upload. Like I always say, these are not just stories for story's sake. They are meant for us not to make these mistakes our brothers and sisters are making. That's why we share these stories with you. I hope we've all learned something important from the story. In our quest to make it in life, please let's be mindful of the choices that we make. Because it can either make or unmake you in a long run. And also, we should know that there is no shortcut in life that will not come at a cost. Today, you might be in a situation that seems to be overwhelming, but I promise you that there is a bigger and perfect picture of you standing at the end of it all. Just fight the battle today, and win it. In that way, you can be proud and enjoy the fruit of your labor in peace. Remember also that life is not a race, where we all must fight to make it to the finish line in time. Our destinies are different, so choose how you live your life wisely. Thanks for being a part of this growing family. Kindly share your thought with us in the comment section below. And if you are new here, please subscribe, like, share, and watch the continuation in our next episode. Stay blessed and be safe.